Hello, everyone. This is Suganthan from Zoho Survey, the product expert. Thank you, one and all, for joining this webinar. So, in this session, the entire session you'll be on mute only, so you can't really speak, but you can always drop your questions on the Q&A session that will be available on your top left. So, we have our panel of experts available to answer all your queries. So here we go. So the agenda of today's webinar is we'll have a short introduction about what Zoho Survey does. And then very specific, we'll look into the types of logics that we have, what are the kind of logics that we support and how we can utilize it to the best. And then we'll go for a live demo to help you understand how to set up those logics over here. And then finally, we'll have a Q&A session. So that's the agenda for today. All right. So why Zoho Survey? Zoho Survey, it's a one-stop solution to build your own customized surveys. Basically, you can create any kind of surveys out of this. Maybe it's an employee engagement, or maybe you're looking to understand your customers, maybe like customer feedback, or maybe you're looking to do some extensive market research to understand the pulse of a new region or market to better cater those audience, or maybe you want to bring in some new features into your existing product to see whether that could add some good things to upsell your products and so on, or services. So there are many opportunities available within a single tool, and it's not just limited to feedbacks. So when we talk about surveys, it doesn't stop about just creating surveys, launching it out. What is the key factor is the data that you get. So the knowledge is the key that you gain out of it. When you directly interact with your customers, you get quality data out of it. With the help of that, you'll be able to take much better quality insights. If you're not doing that, maybe you rely on some XYZ surveyors who give you some random data, then it may not be the same for your use case as well. So go listen out to your customer and see what is the outcome so that you can turn this out into actionable action planning compared to just collect the data and take the input. Don't just stop there. But if you haven't even started doing surveys, you're never late. Start. So what are the options that is available to reach out to your customers? Maybe you're doing a face-to-face interviews, or maybe you're directly interacting with your customers. You can directly shoot out the questions that you have in your mind so that you can better understand the opinions about your brand or your services, so that you can get all those data and enter it manually into the survey form so that you generate reports out of it. Or you can even send the surveys via email or SMS so that they are able to answer the survey as per their convenience, maybe from their mobile or from their tablet device or from a computer. It doesn't matter. So let's say you ship products to your customers. On the shipping, you can have on the packaging of the product, you can have a QR code added to it. So you're most likely to end up getting a feedback out of it. Either the product is way too good or the product is way too bad. Some way or the other, definitely you're going to get some responses out of it. Reason is, if someone is really frustrated, they will be looking for opportunities to let you know that they are not happy. So if something is not working, you can fix that right away only when someone communicates it to you. So for surveys are way more efficient to capture the irate customers' opinions. The same goes with very happy, satisfied customers. So whichever way it goes, no problem. It's a win-win situation for you. All it takes is to just include a QR code in the packaging. Of course, your sales team can call them and get their opinions via telephonic surveys as well. So they can just access the link and take the feedback on behalf of the customers. If not, you can directly host the surveys on social medias like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. So we can generate multiple links for the same survey, and then you can keep a track of it to see like from where exactly the traffic is arising at what particular time frames, so that you can take these basic informations based out of that you can better approach your next set of campaigns as well. Or maybe you can even add tracking along with the URL like Google Tag Manager or Facebook Pixel, so that you get way more better insights out of it with the help of those tracking options. All right, so let's jump into the actual agenda of this webinar, logics. Why should you set up logic? The very simple is make it relevant to the audience to answer the survey, because if you have 30 to 40 questions in your survey, let's assume, but if it is going to be relevant to only a few set of people and not to all, then it doesn't make sense to have all those questions. The reason is 90% of the people are going to stop the survey halfway and they're going to close it. Instead, just show the questions that is relatable to them. Maybe if they are way into interested about, let's say, Apple. So if someone is looking into the Apple devices or they're a user of an Apple device, you can show the relevant question that is way more concentrated on Apple devices. It doesn't make sense to have all the questions. Maybe one for you'll have the questions common for iOS as well as for Google, Android, Google. So the questions may differ slightly. Now, let's say they have App Store and the other one has Play Store. So even a small key term is not relevant for them. So you can come up with the actual questions that is way more suited for them with the help of relevant questions. That is with the help of question logics. And you can also redirect them to different end messages depending on the answer choices. That is also doable. So this can't be achieved with the traditional paper pen method surveys. That's why you come up to online surveys as well as for offline surveys. Zoho Survey does offer offline options where even without the help of internet connectivity, you can still capture data on your mobile or a tablet device or maybe multiple devices simultaneously without any restrictions. And then whenever you're online, you can upload all those data back to the Zoho Survey reports. All right, what are the kind of logics that we support? We have question logics, page logic, answer display logic. So question logic and page logic are like self-explanatory, whereas answer display logic is something like you can show or hide different options depending on the previous set of answers. Whereas piping is something like if you want to personalize the content, maybe like, please enter your name. So if I'm going to type like, hey, my name is Suganthan. So you can personalize the next set of question like, hey, Suganthan, please share your email address. So this actually personalizes the content of the follow-up question, which excites the audience to leave response to it rather than typing the content, like typing the answer manually. So the piping is effective to personalize the content, or maybe you want to have relevant questions asking for it. Maybe like, what did you like in Apple? So maybe the content Apple could dynamically change depending on the user. It could be Samsung, it could be Sony, LG, or etc. So whatever the brand is, you can actually pre-populate that. So what did you like in Apple? You can list out the options below. So they'll be able to choose that. Something like that. And then you can also set up disqualification logics. So disqualifications are like, this is more relevant when you're looking to do some research. Like let's say you have a 10 question survey and maybe the first few questions are about screenings to see whether they are the actual target audience that you're looking at. So if yes, well and good. If no, you can directly disqualify them rather than making them answer the entire set of questions. Or you can even have multiple conditions being added to the disqualification, not just a single question. Maybe they have to choose option A on question one, option B on question two, and option C on question three. Then, depending on all these categories as well, you can define whether they qualify for your screening. It is also doable. And finally, the custom script is something I would say the underdog, because it has the potential to satisfy every kind of logics that is listed above, but way beyond that. For reference, let's say you have a question asking for a survey that is, please choose your gender, male, female. Another follow-up question about the marital status, whether you're married, single, and so on. So if someone chooses female and they say they are married, now on this case, the salutation differs from Miss to Mrs. So we can dynamically change the salivation if they choose these category and have it like hello Mrs. Priya for reference. So with the help of this personalization, it adds more value rather than having a generic term. But for us, no problem. We are Mr. Always. So you have different kind of things available. That is, one is this use case, or maybe you're looking to do some arithmetic logics. It is doable with the custom script, or maybe you want to calculate the age depending on the date of birth they enter. That is also doable. So there are way more options available, but for now, I'll just have this. All right, so let's jump into the live demo to see how to set up logics in Zoho Survey. Yeah, meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to post your questions on the Q&A session. I'll be more than happy to answer all your queries towards the end of the session. Meanwhile, our team is also available to answer your queries. All right, now this is a sample survey. So these are all the questions that I have for now. So on your left, these are all the questions that is available. So we have like 30 different types of questions to choose from to build your own surveys. Basically, you can create any kind of surveys with any number of questions in it without any restrictions with plus and above plans of Zoho Survey. Or if you're a bundle user like CRM Plus or Zoho One, you get the enterprise version of Survey in it. So you can still do unlimited surveys. All right. So in order to begin with the survey now, let's say, how satisfied are you with our product? I would say scale from 1 to 5. And what did you like the most about the experience? Now, let's say that if someone gives a negative rating on this particular question, you would like to hide this question because if they're not happy, this doesn't make sense. So let's add a condition to this second question to be displayed only when someone gives you a rating of 3, 4, or 5 and not to be displayed for 1 and 2. So in that case, what I can do is click on the actions, edit, and go to display logic. You can have few options. That is, display this question only if a certain condition is met. Or you can hide this question if a certain condition is met. Hiding is something which I won't recommend because if someone is going to open the survey and after they answer the first question, all of a sudden they see that the second question goes away. So they deliberately understand that you're hiding something from them just because they chose a specific option. Instead, you can come up with the question if they choose a specific question to make sure that it is more relevant. I'll choose display this question only if a certain condition is met. Now the condition is how satisfied are you with our product? If the value is greater than, let's say, 2, that is 3, 4, and 5, you can click on save. So you'll see this symbol. So this is just for your reference. So if I give you a quick preview, so you don't see that second question over here. Instead, only based on my answer, you're going to see that. As simple as that. So the surveys that you create in our tool, it's fully compatible across all the devices. This is a desktop view, this is a tablet view, and this is going to be a mobile view. So you don't really need to worry about how your respondents are going to answer the survey. It takes care of it on its own. All right, moving further. So if you have a question asking for, let's say, the name, I'll just pull in the first name question on the top, like first name, last name. And if you wish to personalize this, something like, hey, and I'll use insert variable over here and choose the first name. So if I choose like something like this, hey Suganthan, how satisfied are you with our product? So this is the piping logic that we were referring to. So you can customize the way the survey needs to look like depending on what answers. Moving forward, we have now, let's say, would you like to help us by answering a few more questions? Now, this is highly appreciable if you're going to have a question, something like this, because if they choose no, still you're going to capture the important information that you wanted to capture right away on page 1. But if they're interested, you can get more details from them by asking more questions on it. So try to have the minimal number of or the most important questions that you like to ask to your customers on page one, and have a question something related to this, so that if they choose yes, they are going to proceed. If not, we can just end the survey for them. So in order to end the survey, let's say if someone chooses no, what you can do is just go to the top of the page one, or whichever page that specific question is in, choose logic over here and choose page skip logic. Over here, you can add a condition, that is, if would you like to help us by answering few more questions? If they choose no, not this time, then redirect them or skip to the survey end page and click on save. So the default flow of this survey is it is going to go to the page two, but if this condition matches, it is going to end the survey for them. As simple as that. So that's the page skip logic. So you can have multiple pages. Maybe you have like, please choose the category, let's say option A, B, C, D, and you're going to have questions related to each of the options. Then you can split the surveys into multiple pages, and having like for option A, you can add all the questions related to it on page two, and so does for option B in page three, and so on. And you can even terminate them. So it doesn't make sense to show them all the pages. We have to just show the questions that is related to each of the option. So if they are related to page two alone, in that case, what you can do is just go to page skip logic, and after this page, go to the survey end page to make sure they don't see the remaining set of pages over there. So you can do page skip logics on this aspect as well. All right. So we have a question on page two asking like, which of the products are you currently using in our Zoho ecosystem? So there's a list of choices. Of course, in Zoho, we have like 60 to 75 different products available, but these are just few products that I've listed for you. And if someone chooses a certain option, so there's a multiple choice mini answer. You can see the options on the top. How I see is if you have checkbox, you'll have the option to select more than one choice, whereas it's a radio button, it's a single choice. All right. So based out of this question, now if you would like to have a follow-up question like, please rate the following services. Maybe if I'm going to choose CRM and survey for reference, I want, the author wants me to rate from like 1 to 5 scale for CRM and survey. So we can have a matrix or rating scale just below that and frame the question like, please rate the following products. But we don't know how or which options every single individual is gonna select. So for that, I'll enable this carry forward row choices. That is from which particular question. Which of the products are you currently using in the Zoho ecosystem? Would you like to carry forward all the choices or just the answered choices? You can decide on it. And then the scale, you could be like from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, it's up to you. But I would highly recommend to keep it 1 to 5 or 0 to 5. Reason is if someone is answering from a mobile device, then they may need to use the scroll bar to take it to the right to select the option 10 if they are very happy. But if in case they don't notice the scroll bar, then they may think that it's just 1 to 5 and they're going to give a rating of 5 to you instead of 10. So towards the end in the reports, it's going to affect the overall statistics. Even though a happy or satisfied customer wanted to give you a positive rating, still they ended up giving a neutral rating out of it. So you can label it like 1 being most unlikely and 5 being excellent for reference. And you don't see that right away, but I'll give you a quick preview. So if you see here, so I just see the first question over here. But if I start selecting the options, I have the option to rate the products depending on my experience over there. That's it. So these are called like carry forward choices. And if you want to show or hide options, that is also doable. For reference, let's say if someone chooses what did you like the most about your experience, and let's say I choose product design, On that case, you want to hide two features, maybe two products, let's say Zoho Creator and Zoho Mail. You don't want to list that if someone chooses features. Then what you can do is go to answer display logic and hide these choices if a certain condition is met, or display this choice if a certain condition is met. Like that, you can have some choices over here. So let's say you want to hide Zoho Creator as well as Zoho Mail. For what? If what do you like, if that is equal to features for reference. So these two options should have been hidden by default. Not by default. I mean, if someone says, if what do you like the most about the thing, if I choose features, then those two options are not available over here. I just see the remaining options. So you can show or hide questions related to a question itself, depending on the previous set of answers, to make sure that they are not being frustrated or irritated just by looking into the same things every single time. So that's all about the answer display logics. And finally, the JavaScript. So for JavaScript, I have another survey being built. But before that, maybe I can also show you the end messages. So what would you like to display when someone completes the survey? You can have different end messages by default. That is a custom message, or maybe you want them to be redirected to a website. Or let's say you have a positive rating, like if someone is going to recommend you highly, then you can put the Google review URLs over here of your business. So only they will be redirected to them. So this is a default end message where they'll be redirected to Google reviews by default, but you don't want frustrated customers to spoil your reputation. So in that case, what you can do is add a logic over here and add a condition that is how likely are going to recommend us. If someone is going to give you a value greater than, let's say, 8, that is 9 and 10, for them, you can have a custom message or maybe redirect to a new page, put the URL for them. If this condition doesn't match, then they're going to see the default custom message like, thank you for participating. That's it. So it's as simple as that to determine how you want the customers to maybe after they answer, how what do they need to see or what kind of actionable things that you want to do, you can get it done. Now this is for the end message, but if in case you want to notify them via email, like thanks for your response, or maybe you want to take it forward. Let's say if someone is not happy with the service, you want to address that with a proper definition over there. That is like trigger an email. So add a condition over here. If the rating is equal to or lesser than 3 for reference, that is 1 and 2. So for them, send them the email. That is, if you have an email address question, you can directly do that. Or if you're going to trigger out the surveys via the inbuilt email distribution feature of Zoho Survey, then you can, it will automatically pull those email address and trigger an email to them stating that, hey, sorry for your experience. Our team will get in touch with you within the next 4 to 6 hours to address all your concerns. So that is a promise that you're giving to your customers that they can expect a resolution out of it rather than a plain thank you message or a sorry message. So you can have different options available. So don't just stop from capturing data, work on it. Maybe if you can't work on it manually, automate it. So that's about the trigger emails. All right, now let's jump into the JavaScript logics. So I'll open up another survey. So this question or this survey is like a lifestyle survey. So with the help of the height and weight, I'm going to calculate the BMI of the individual and show relevant options for them. So if I'm going to preview this, enter my height and enter my weight, let's say 80. Of course, I'm not 80, I'm way more than that. So my BMI is 27.68. So this is in the obese category. So any BMI above 25 that will be obese if I'm not wrong, or overweight, I guess. So greater than 30 is obese. So there's some math towards it. So you can even define those, stating like you're obese or you're overweight or you're fit, something out of its kind you can define. So for this particular BMI, I have these set of options displayed. So you can select, okay, the motivation and accountability to stay consistent. So you can have relevant options, or maybe you want to come up with different questions. Now, this simple arithmetic operation was possible only just because of the JavaScript logic, because we can't really validate the answers while you answer the survey. Maybe post completing the survey, we can do the calculations, but not right away while you answer it. So with the help of JavaScript, you will be able to do that. That is how exactly I did that is I defined the question B, that is asking for the weight as W and the height as H. But in order to calculate the BMI, we need the height in meters, not in centimeters. So I converted the centimeter into meter by dividing it by 100. And then the formula to calculate the BMI is weight divided by meter square. So I just did like weight divided by HM into HM. That is, HM is nothing but the meter. And that's done. Sorry. So it is going to calculate the BMI. But when we calculate multiple numbers over here, there's a high possibility of getting into a decimal values, which is not going to stay in 2 digits or 3 digits. Maybe it's going to say like 25.708634. We don't really need that. We just want like 20.70, that's it, or 25.70, that's it. So we'll round it off to the fixed 2 digits. So to do that, I had like BMI.2 fixed.2. Now this calculates the BMI well and good. But if I want to show relevant answer choices to this particular question, now you see like I have 7 different choices, but not all 7 choices are relatable to all the BMIs. So I have segregated this into 4 categories. One is underweight, fit, overweight, and obese. So I'll go to answer display logic. And with the help of JavaScript, that is if it's less than 18.5, show this option. If it's lesser than 30, show this option, and so on. So for every single choice, I have defined like this needs to be displayed if depending on the BMI of the respondent. That's it. So with the help of JavaScript logic, you can define or do the arithmetic logics as well as simultaneously use the answer display logics as well. Maybe you want to show the BMI towards the end of the survey, that is also doable. So how you want is something that you need to decide. Maybe if you don't find that like a ready-made solution in the logics, you can definitely try the JavaScript logics over here. But if you're stuck somewhere, please don't worry. You can always refer the help document of ours, which will have way more clarity on it. But if that doesn't help either, you can always reach out to us on support@zohosurvey.com. We'll definitely help you with the JavaScripts that you may need to set up your logics. So I hope this session was really helpful for you to better understand how you can use logics to narrow down the surveys more relevant or make it more relevant to your audience to make sure that you get the most out of it. So it's time for questions. You can drop your questions in the Q&A session. I'll be happy to answer it for you if it wasn't answered already. I just see one question and it's been answered, but still I'll convey that again. So is there a way to auto number the questions? Yes, definitely. You can just get into the survey settings, go to the preference and enable the question numbers and make sure you click on save so that all the questions will be auto numbered on your survey form. Any more questions for now? We still have few minutes left, so I'm happy to answer. Maybe it's not relevant to logics. Still anything relevant to survey, please let me know. We'll still try to answer all your questions. If you like this webinar, please leave a thumbs up so that I'll understand that you you were looking into this throughout the entire session and you are satisfied with the content. So that would be a bit of boost for me. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. And please follow us on the social medias like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, so that you never ever miss out an update from us. We are coming up with many more things. It's not just about the webinars. Of course, we have a webinar planned to be done on 30th of April. So it's about a complete walkthrough of a product right from start till the end. It's a 45 minutes webinar. So we'll also include those webinar registration links to you when we share this recording to you via email. Maybe it should be ready in a day or two. So if you're interested, you can even register for that. And meantime, in social medias, we also post about the new features that we come up with. And we are also planning to come up with talk shows. Of course, it's already been shooted. It's just in the final editing mode. So you'll have many versions of the talk shows, many episodes out of it. So anything you'd like to know about surveys or how helpful it could be, you can follow us on social media so you never ever miss out an update from us. Thank you one and all for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.